Hello, hello. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Sweet. Thanks, Maddie. If you're one of my wolves from Discord, from the Wolf Pack, please use the YouTube chat this morning. Okay? Please use the YouTube chat this morning. That way I'm not going back and forth. What's up, y'all? How was everyone's weekend? Where's everyone joining me from this morning? Where is everyone joining from this morning? What's up, Rad? I know you're in Asia. Give everyone a sec to get in. Oh, Rad's in UK? Thought you were in Asia for some reason. Oh, it's a different one. That's right. Manchester. Ireland. Denmark. Julio NY. What's up, Julio? A lot of people in NY. I'm going to be up in NYC early next year, running a boot camp, a trading boot camp out there for y'all. So, Dallas, me too. Me too. And in fact, if you're one of my Texans, specifically if you're anywhere near Dallas, I'm going to be running a couple of just kind of free meetups going forward. Every few months, I'm going to be throwing some trader meetups and stuff like that. So, awesome. Well, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed your weekend. We're into an election week, my friends. We're into an election week. No clue. Absolutely no clue. I called a little over a year and a half ago a massive bull run into the election. Called that one. And it came completely to fruition this year. And here we are. Election week. They did it. Okay. And the one thing that you can't say is that the stock market wasn't doing well. You can't say that the market wasn't doing well, right? Going into the election, that's one of the bases that they covered pretty well, in my opinion. Who's they? I mean, the party that's in power at the moment. Okay. And that was my prediction. One of my predictions was that they knew it was going to be a tough one going against Trump again, and that it's important that the markets are nice and high. So that's one thing that they don't have to worry about. Call it a conspiracy theory. I call it what happened. Okay. That being said, my experience over the last decade trading into and out of elections is that it's hit or miss. We don't know. And anyone who claims to know doesn't really know. Okay. In terms of what I do and what we do, let's get into that. Okay. Let's get into small cap. For now, markets are fine, right? They ran it into the election. Whatever it does this week, we'll probably see, in my opinion, some consolidation, maybe even a little bit of fade or whatever else, trepidation going into the election. Okay. There may be bigger players concerned about what happens after the election. But at the end of the day, what matters to me is what I trade, right? Smaller, mid-cap stocks, and what has been happening there. Okay. At the end of the day is what's most important to me. So let's start to get into that. We're going to get into small cap. We're going to get into pre-market process. We'll go through my scans, kind of how I'm looking at things this week. And I'll answer as many questions as I can along the way. All right. So smash the like. Thanks for joining me from all around the world this morning. Let's get into it. Scans. Here's my scans this morning. The company I use, everyone always asks, it's literally SCANZ scans. Been using it pretty much my whole career. Works well. Parameters for filters. I've got almost nothing. If you look, 500,000 in dollar volume is the only thing I scan for. If I want to eliminate a lot of the noise, okay, a lot of the non-volatile noise, in other words, I'll just go to percent change 5 and you'll see that's what we've got this morning. This is every stock in the entire stock market at any price that's gapping up more than 5% this morning on more than $500,000 in dollar volume, not volume, but in dollar volume. Okay. Why do I use $500,000 volume? Because $500,000 volume and dollar volume are not the same things. And when you're trading smaller cap stocks or just stocks in general, and you're pricing out what's going on. Sorry, 1 second. I need to know that it's liquid and that actual money's going through it, right? So in other words, 500,000 shares of a penny stock, a literal 10-cent stock, there's not that much actual money flowing through that ticker. 500,000 shares of a $10 stock, that's a lot more money going through that ticker. But the number that I use is dollar volume, and then I don't have to worry about it, right? Personally. But either way, that's kind of personal preference, I guess, but I've always done that. What happens is this is scans, SCANZ, okay? So we've got ADN. What I do, I look for the top percent gainers, okay? Look for the top percent gainers, look for them to set up, and I am primarily dip buying in the morning on day ones. Specifically, gap and crap reversal has been in again, in my opinion, right? Over the last week to 2 weeks, we've seen day one gap and crap reversals come back a bit. We've seen multi-day runners, which I've been primarily focusing on for the last 6 months, right? We've seen those take a little bit of a backseat because the markets have not been as hot. Does that make sense, everyone? Very simple. The ebbs and flows. The markets are not linear. It's not one thing. The patterns, the setups, they come and go, right? And the efficacy comes and goes. And if we're not having big blow-off day one moves, okay? If we're not having big blow-off day one moves, then generally speaking, we're not going to have big day three surges, or we're not going to have room on the chart for a nice first green day bounce and all the other setups that we like to trade. So right now, just to let you guys know the mode I'm in, because that's what it is. I have to have the right perspective going into each trading week and trading day, hopefully, to match what the price action is doing. It's a big key. It's a big part of adapting to what we're doing here, okay? Right now, I'm in singles mode. I'm in smack singles on reversals in the morning on day ones. I'm on smack singles if it's a first green day bounce. I don't care what the setup is. Just for now, until the markets tell me differently, singles. Top percent gainer this morning is actually STAF at the moment. STAF, STAF. They ran a few weeks ago. They gapped up to 4, ran to 6. Remember? Closed at 2. And they've sold off for the last few weeks. Okay? And now they put out some news this morning, it looks like. Merger news this morning. M&A news. Okay. So M&A news on STAF. Micro float immediately 176 to 4s. Okay. 176 to 4s. Last time they gapped up, they went 1 to the 7s and then faded, right? They had a gap and crap reversal on that move too. Little early reversal. See, that's what I have this marked up from their main move here. Short sellers was a really nice early morning reversal. If you look 2-3 minutes into that day, but that was at day one, right? That was like kind of catch shorts off guard. 1 to 8, big fade, closed at $2, y'all, right? Went from 2 to 8 to 2 that day. So keep that in mind, STAF, generally speaking, because big picture here, as we know. Sorry, and I am not on the chart. Thank you, my friends. Here we are. Classic. All right, here's what we got going on this morning on STAF. This is the 1 minute chart. Here's your 5. Okay. Here's your 15. I'm just going to mark down the only little area right now of support that it's working off of. 352 as well. 352. This is an older notation, so we'll go back to this. And you'll see, yeah, pretty key level from its initial move, right? Where I was trying to dip by it a couple weeks ago, I believe. Here's that move I was talking about. The main move on STAF. Here's a daily. See? Capped up to 4, spiked to 6. Closed in the 2s. Now it's starting from the same spot. It's gapping up. It's not gapping up as much. I would be concerned about bag holders. I would be concerned about a lot of things. Does everyone know what bag holders are? If you don't, if I ever say something, y'all, especially during these pre-market perps, but my webinars are in the Discord as well. If I ever say anything that you don't understand, ask. All right. Whether it's terminology or something else, it's what I'm here for. You know, if you're new, I remember being new. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know. There were a lot of words that didn't make sense to me. Nothing made sense to me really, other than I was supposed to chase through highs of day. And that when it goes up and it breaks out of at highs, it goes higher in my mind. That's the only thing that made sense to me as a new trader. And I couldn't have been more wrong. Okay. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to hopefully help you with that. Bag holder is someone who's holding a bag from the big move a few weeks ago. Okay. Happens to all of us. You buy it, you chase it at 5. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Here's a 5-minute chart, okay? That day, look at this volume. Okay, look at this volume here. Very key. See the volume? The biggest volume this thing's traded in a long time. These are 5-minute candles, but 5 million shares per 5 minutes. So 1 million shares a minute this thing was trading that morning, right? Spiked up the 550s, and then it's back to the 2s. So there are naturally going to be a bunch of crappy traders who are trapped up there. Does that make sense? Thank you. We're live. Thanks, babe. Hi, love. You want some of my coffee? Okay. Sorry, wife and daughter. She brought me some coffee. Okay. Anyways, long story short, these guys are dilutive. They do like to dump. Let's check out what they got going on. Sorry. Just really quickly, I just want to see, have they done anything since last week? This is dilution tracker, okay? This is what I use to go through filings very quickly or just see what's going on with dilution, okay? Anyway, I'm sorry, bag holders really fast. It's just people holding from higher prices from last week or months ago or whatever else it may be. I find the closer we are to the move, the more bag holders there generally are. These are longs that are trapped at higher prices. So when the stock moves back upward, right, like it is right now, for example, let's go to the hour chart so you can see this is the hourly chart from the last few weeks. Okay, right here. Okay. Big push to 7. There are going to be people who are long from 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, right? Who's bag held before? Everyone. If you're newer, you haven't yet, but you will. And I'm trying to help you not do it because it's the worst thing you can do. And you don't have to. You really don't. I've been very, very, very good throughout my career about not doing that. Especially if you have a small account. There's no reason to be bag holding, okay? That being said, from a price action perspective, if I'm bag holding and I have in the past, right? What happens when this pops? It's like a victory almost. And the second it gets back up towards your entry or wherever you were, you're going to take it off. For break even feels like a victory, right? When that money comes back. So that's the idea there. That's the idea. Okay? Golly. Idiot. Right? If you're long from 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and this pops up, and you've been holding it for a couple weeks hoping that this pops up, yeah, it feels like a victory, but you're also a seller. So in other words, that's supply and demand. Same as always. Thank you, below trading. Excess supply, correctly. Would I classify STAF as a first green day? Yeah, but it's a PR-driven first green day. It's M&A news on a first green day bounce. So here's what I mean. Technically, this was a first green day. Technically, this was a red day, but it went green, red day. This day was a first green day, right? Like when I see charts like that, I'm usually not interested in the swing. But these guys repumped, so it is what it is. Let's go to quickly. We've got 12 minutes. Smash the like. I may stay a little bit longer with you guys into some live trading this morning, so you can see. Overall risk medium. Here are their outstanding shares, right? This is what the outstanding shares looks like fully diluted, and it's actually not that bad. Okay. They're a micro float, right? They've got less than 1 million shares in their float. .85, but they're about to be higher. $247 HC Wainwright price from 2023. Either way, if I'm touching this in the morning, it's going to look like this and only this. Something like this in the morning, like this on a Monday morning, especially, that has bag holders. That's literally what my trade would look like. Something like this on a morning dip, right? Kind of quick morning dip and then a quick morning sell personally. Target would be like high a day or VWAP or both. And then maybe try to get some up towards 4 or something like that. And then maybe it could surprise you, right? This one surprised me last time, certainly. So, and there are, of course, not just bag holders, but we have short sellers, right? They all kind of go together. Bag holders, short sellers will be up here selling too, right? That makes sense. And if it pops up here, you're going to have short sellers, and then it can create squeeze or whatever it's going to create. But the trend from last week was not squeeze, guys. Please, 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 if you take nothing else away from this webinar, understand that last week was a week where there's not a ton of squeeze. So this week, I'm not going to be looking for the home run. I'm not going to be swinging for the fences. Election week, too. I don't know. Okay? Small cap has been good, but not great. In other words, the biggest gappers have ended up being faders, inevitably. The pattern recently, and this is one of the other main reasons I'd like to come out here on Mondays and help you guys and gals, is to kind of let you know, the markets, they ebb and flow, and I've been tracking these markets for a very long time, and I try my best to come over on Mondays and help set some perspective for you. Does that make sense? And for my people in the Discord, you guys know that's what we do every single day. I just try to help set some perspective, and then you guys can go about trading, hopefully, and trust yourself and be somewhere in the ballpark. That's our goal, right? My goal when I'm setting price targets, I always go off risk first. What's my risk level? Okay. What's my risk going to be based off that risk level and the setup and the patterns and the catalyst and the markets, right? But then it's like, okay, I've got risk sorted out. What's my profit targets? Profit targets in a great market, you guys, end up being like pre-market highs and high of day on this pattern and above. I will hold shares. I will size out into all of those. I will buy my patience because they will pull, right? They will pull. Anyways, here's STAF. I want to look at a couple others. In this market right now, I am looking for singles. That's all. I'm looking for singles this week. Just keep the marker moving forward, especially if I'm playing day one gap and crap reversals. If something happens and we have huge moves at some point, then game on. Game on back to third day surge, first green day bounce, day one gap and crap reversals with higher price targets, all of that good stuff. Do I use stop losses or hotkeys to mitigate slippage? I use a hotkey and stop losses. So it just depends. It depends. I can promise you this. If you use stop losses, you will never have a problem with losses, with a losing. You will not have to worry about it. Okay. Some of the students that I've been working with one-on-one recently who had the best results have been doing that. They took it out of their hands. They don't take big losses anymore. What do I mean single? I don't slap a number on there. I'm not looking for 10% specifically or 15%. I'm trading the levels. I'm trading the levels and risk reward off those levels. Okay. In other words, if I'm going to be risking here, my friend, right? If I'm looking for this little single I was talking about, let's go to the one. Right? And I'm playing VWAP and I have risk area that looks something like that. And these are areas, remember, it's not necessarily a rigid amount outside of the stop, like the actual stop price, but that's what I mean. This is what the trade would look like. Does that make sense? That's a single to me. And it's, I don't know what the percent, I mean, we could do the math, you know what I mean? But I'm just taking the single, good risk reward. I've got about 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk reward there. Okay. To VWAP. People don't even have a trade, you know, people don't even think they're going to trade until it gets above high a day. At which point I'm 1 to 10 up there. You know what I'm saying? RR. So in other words, I don't really think about it. A single to me means first price target or halfway to the first price target, cut that in half, sell half there. In other words, 323x, like an entrant, and this is hypothetical, right? We've still got 6 minutes to market open, nice. But if I'm getting something like this, yeah, I can sell into VWAP, I can sell into high a day, I can sell into pre-market highs. Singles market means I take that pre-market high target, it's gone, and maybe even the high a day target, if that's higher, it's gone, and I'm just selling it all into VWAP. Does that make sense? And for those, I promise you guys, if you live in that, your accuracy will shoot right up. If you're taking profits there, you won't be getting stopped when it fails at VWAP or high a day, which it does a lot. Reshorts, especially on something like STAF. Remember this, right? So it could squeeze. It could get to 6 today or something, 7 maybe on a good morning push, 5 or 6, I'd say. But I'm looking at it like, okay, I don't know that. You know, I know there's bag holders, and this is a good single. Deal? Understood? Let me know in chat, please. Perspective, man. Perspective. And if that's what I want, then I'm not underwhelmed when I sell it there. Does that make sense? And I'm expecting to sell it there. When it goes there, I sell it there, and that's the trade. It's a great trade. You know what I mean? And then you can work on scaling, because the magic really is trading this with size one day. That's the magic, is when I can take 10,000 shares from 320, 330, 340, 350 and get 30 cents and make $3,000. Does that make sense, everybody? That's my goal eventually for you guys, is not to take huge 100% gains and 300% gains, but to take 10, 5, 7, 15, 20 on bigger size one day. Okay? And then also a bigger size, and wake up some days or have some markets where actually, you know, at 430s are the targets and beyond. And you're looking at 10, 15, 20, 30, $50,000 trades. All right? So there's STAF. It's the idea behind it. ADN. Oh, sweet. I saw him popping off a little bit earlier. I saw Carlos from chat smacked this one nicely. They had who's been mentoring people, just awesome dude, doing great. 2.2 mil in the float. They were awarded 34.5 million by an EU innovation fund. Okay. Good sounding catalyst. Big money. Split back in April. Not much on the daily. Right? Daily chart first. Start big picture, work your way down. What I like to do on a daily chart. Oh, smash the like, by the way. If you guys are enjoying this format and kind of the noob details that I'm trying to get into, smash the like for me. Subscribe. I've got to trade my first. I got some real YouTube videos dropping this week finally, and then every week. All right, some trade recaps, and some other stuff. So make sure you're subscribed and smash that like. 3 minutes till market open. 3 minutes till market open. I've got one vague plan on STAF. Very vague. It's not vague, but it's not my favorite idea in the whole world. Okay? And if I'm buying it, I already got to start thinking about buying it into the open. And I personally, especially if it's gap and crap reversal season for now, in a singles market, I just like to wait a little bit, man. I need a couple minutes into the market open to just let that little bit of crazy initial volatility pan out the first couple candles, right? ADN. ADN is another one where the only entry I really see was for pre-market that Carlos nailed, right? This idea here has been the most fruitful idea in terms of everything we've been trading. Every day, the biggest top percent gainers, and people, I have some people in my chat like Carlos who just nailed these things. Push from $1.80 to 320, a little over 50% retracement to the twos, right? You can see it hold as support here, form a little bit of higher low, sell off, and then completely hold that level, right? So this to me, in terms of edge as a trader here on this move, was like just earlier. This was the best spot for me. You could have made a case for this too, but that's the only issue I have. And then I see 320s. All right. 320s. That's my mark. If I am to dip by this at all today, for me personally, it's going to be in that area alone, or I got no trade. Okay? This area. And it's still up a shit ton there. Okay? But I can't buy it up here. I can't buy it through high a day, pre-market highs. And if I dip by it here, it's going to be the same freaking mentality. Sell back into VWAP. And then probably like 380s, 370s. Make sense, everyone? Right? I'm not 100% sure what the price action will look like over here. We might see, you know, we might see 320s hold or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that be a hold area. So I'll kind of notate it like this in my mind. Right? And then eventually it might just be the low twos that hold and bounce. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it have a bounce, right? And the low twos. I wouldn't be surprised to see it have a bounce in the high twos and low threes. But it doesn't mean it's going to the moon. Especially in a week like this week. I don't know. Make sense, everybody? And the markets are open. Markets are open. Make sure to smash that like if you've been enjoying the pre-market prep. Sorry we were, you know, I tend to ramble on about noob stuff and try to teach, right, during these sessions. So we end up a little bit light on these. NUWE also on the scan there. Kind of a recent multi-day, I thought. Right? Yeah. Kind of an interesting chart here as well for a potential reversal this morning. If you see, same sort of idea for me here, which is trying to break down now, but maybe a 2 hold and then a put, just a little push towards VWAP would be idea for me on NUWE. They did have news, right? Yeah, they had some reimbursement news about some stuff, but already breaking down the bit of pre-market support. This is 15. Let's go to 5 and you can see what I mean. Again, it's Monday morning. It's an election week. It's an election week. Things have been slower. Gap and crap reversals have been working for singles. Like I said, look, broke down those levels again right out the gate for now, which puts this in a tentative spot for me where I don't really want to trade it, okay? Because there's no, like, if it holds, it's arbitrary, or it's just going to have to set up some support on its own through shorts covering, right? Or something like that. We've got what? Little 3 hold and reversal back towards highs already on STAF. Here's your high of day as well, by the way, this morning. That's an important level. Here's what that daily candle's starting to look like. I always like to look through that. Okay. Let's double box the ADN real fast so I can keep eyes on both. Questions? If I need a stop loss, then that means you're not a disciplined trader. Weak-minded. What does that say? If you need a stop loss, that means you're not a disciplined trader. Weak-minded, can't cut a loss. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, maybe. I love you, but I don't agree with that at all. In fact, I think, and you know what? I don't mean dumb like you're dumb, because that's something I used to say, dude, all the time. That's literally, because that's what I was taught to. Like, oh, well, you just don't have discipline. I think it takes more discipline to set a stop on every trade than to not. I think it takes a strong mind to say, this is my stop loss, and to set it every time. And I can tell you what, when you set stops, all you have to worry about at that point is taking profits. So the only actual trading that you're doing is taking profits. That's all you're doing. You're not manually handling anything else. In fact, the discipline is you're removing that option altogether. So in my opinion, I think, and listen, it's just my opinion. I'm not even saying you're wrong, dude, you know? But I used to say that too. And working with now hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of traders, but recently one-on-one hundreds of traders, right? And seeing what works for people and what doesn't, I can tell you that I've watched undisciplined traders that had jack shit for results, nothing but frustration, big losses, become profitable within months of starting to set stop losses. Smash the like. I'm serious. To the point where I set them quite often now. There are times I don't too, because I want to manually handle them and perhaps flatten my position prematurely at times, right? To avoid maybe a big crack at a key level on a low float, especially if I'm trading riskier ideas. But for the most part, and for those that can just manually cut and do it, I can. Don't get me wrong. I've done that most of my career. It might help you to set stops too. I don't know. I enjoy it. I was told don't set stops. I was told don't buy under VWAP. Don't catch a falling knife. I was told so many things. I was told you can't even long successfully when I started, really. Only shorts could make money in the markets. I was told by, in my opinion, the GOAT, Tim Gertani, that he didn't think it was possible. That's the first thing he said when I met him in person, is that because he was only shorting at the time. He was the trade the ticker guy, right? He didn't give a shit about the fundies at the moment, or dilution. He was just trading, just smacking shorts. And that's one of the first things he said. He said, I didn't think it was possible. And now, fast forward 7 years later, and I think all of his biggest trades now at this point, like top 3 or 5, have been longs. Cool, right? That being said, everything that made me successful was by not listening to people in our space. Does that make sense? Like being a contrarian, I talk about it all the time. Very basic principles, the ones that Warren Buffett talks about, but on smaller time frames. Buy the fear, sell the greed. When everyone wants something, you sell it. When they're, in other words, if there's a bunch of volume and the stock's going up, that's a good time to sell the stock, generally speaking. And with our time frame, right? He buys assets that move 10% or 15% or 20% or 50% over the next 10 years. We're buying assets that move 15 or 20% in the next 10 fucking seconds, you guys. Understood? So yes, it's the same. It's on a smaller time frame, but we're trading stocks just like Warren Buffett, right? And I can promise you, if he were to day trade, he wouldn't be buying through highs. He doesn't. He frowns upon what we do, for sure. But we don't have the liquidity for him. But anyways, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? ADN little reversal already this morning, right? It's up near its highs. When I look at this chart, I'm not going to be buying it up here. STAF lower on the lower high, right? Nice, and I avoided that for now. It made it easy for me to avoid the way it opened, though, right? I mean, if you would have seen it open it holding like the 350s earlier, it would have been a totally different scenario, but it did not do that. So it broke down and was already lower highing. There's STAF for now. ADN's holding up okay. I'm going to let it do its thing. We got NUWE, full reversal this morning off that little level. Wow. Nice. Anyone smack new? That had basically the nicest pre-market look to me. That was nice. Nice push. Again, I'd be done with that. That's what it is. Riley's parent company is preparing to file out Chapter 11. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Teabag? Again, to each their own. This is one of those games, you know? Stopwise, no stop, breakout, whatever you want to do. I don't knock anyone who finds something successful in the markets. If you find a way to extract money from the markets, I, generally speaking, want to know what you're doing. If it's small cap, if it's my realm, I love being wrong about things. I love learning from my students' ideas that work for them. You know what I'm saying? You got to be open in this game to change. You have to be open to other ideas. You have to be open to adaptation. And you have to be open to the fact, I mean, you got to kick that ego really at the end of the day, right? The right and wrong and win and loss. Nope. It's risk and reward to me, right? How can I optimize systems? How can I optimize my process on a daily basis? Dang, new. Nice push on new. Nice push on new. NUWE this morning. Quick reversal. 2-minute reversal. ADN back to its lows at the moment. Low a day for now. Testing lows. For me, the problem buying up in areas like this is it's better risk reward for short sellers. Okay? If I'm looking for RR like this, watch this, y'all. And this is the last point, and then we got to do a couple things. If I'm looking for RR like this is freaking important, y'all. Smash this like, by the way. If that's what I'm looking for, okay? This is what my short seller friends are looking for. Right? Understood? They're making money here. And if you're a good short seller, you work risk reward this way, and then you start covering into levels like this that I was talking about where I like to start buying. Does that make sense? Please let me know. Please smash a like and let me know in chat. The visual representation. If I'm a short seller, a good short seller at least, I start to work highs, and there's more meat on the bone, at least the way I see this today, this way than the other way. Okay? And this scale also shifts. So the lower it goes, you're going to have shorts that short weakness. You have shorts right here that short the VWAP breakdown. Promise you. I can guarantee you that they're here and here and here and certainly here now. Right? So that's kind of the idea. That's kind of the idea. Good short, good short, good short, good short, good short. Not as good, not as good, right? Bad, 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 bad. And then ours is just the opposite. Just the opposite. NUWE. Sick push. Sick push and halt. Okay. ADN. New lots. New lots. Okay. Good to see. But if you look at our other gainers for now, and just for now, I don't like STAF kind of beaten up, right? Which is fine. STAF's not one I'm really looking to dip by anyways, but I could see ADN holding up. NUWE. Okay, NUWE is an example, is a beautiful example right now of who we call Billy, right? This is the noob that I was talking about. This was me. This is a lot of you still probably, at least in your mind, you still want to be doing crap like this. This is the worst thing. That right there is the worst entry in all of trading in small cap. I hope you know that if you're doing that, you're in big trouble long term, or at least until you figure out, beat your head up against the wall to realize it's an uncontrollable position most of the time, okay? And I want to say 80% of the time or so, it's also the top, okay? Especially if we're in a fader market. which we're not in a big squeeze market at the moment, this didn't shout like huge squeeze to me the way that was pushing. So we'll see. We shall see. If I were short this morning, had been focusing more on like ADN probably, or STAF. So that leaves me thinking kind of, because this was a little less liquid going into the open at first, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But sweet move on NUWE. Sweet, sweet, sweet move. But this is the worst entry in trading. If this didn't get halted there, even if it does get halted, if it gets halted down under 313 for some reason, or under, 330, if this doesn't now gap up to like 350 and go to 4 immediately, it'll panic. And whoever was buying that gets screwed, okay? So just understand, that's Billy. We call him Billy. Billy gets screwed a lot. All right? Sick, Jose. Jose got $2.10. That is what I'm talking about, right? There's Billy. You sell to him. You sell. If you can sell to Billy. If that's your mindset, you can make it in this game. There's so much potential. All right. Smash that like. It's really doable. I've been watching over the last week. Over the last month. I've been seeing from my one-on-one work. I got a group of about 70 traders right now where once a month I go through all of their trades and then work with them on strategy, trying to on their process and psychology, and trying to just help them push forward as fast as we can. And I can tell you, just a few tweaks for some of you who've been doing this for a while. Just a few tweaks, and you can get to profitability so much faster than you would think. All right. He got 210. Someone said cojones, but to me, what would take the most cojones, right, would be to buy up here. That's what takes cojones now. I'm like, that is, that's risky up there. That's someone with, either an idiot or just doesn't know, or just loves risk, loves getting beaten up. This to me is not. And that's what you have to do is rewire, and all of us have to do this. I promise. I had to do it a long time ago, and I still continuously will fight the urge sometimes to chase strength. But you really have to rewire yourself to where I get excited when it gets near levels of support. Period. Which means I get excited when it's weak. Period. Okay? I've trained myself. I've trained that instinct to start watching price action and put my hands on the mouse and start putting in my orders and be ready when it gets towards levels that I want to trade them at. Does that make sense? I don't let the chart dictate my entry and exit and what happens. I don't buy there. I used to, right? I started here and I'm like, oh, that sucks. So then I started maybe dip buying in anticipation. Ooh, there we go. Then I started dip buying in anticipation. Okay. That sucked because that's where the best short sellers are, in my opinion. And I've just, over the subsequent years, made my way down and down and down. This, to me, is the journey of a good trader, right? What an amazing squeeze, too. That was a great squeeze there. And now Billy, if this was his first time trading, or if even not, got that kick of like, oh, this is the right thing to do. And it's very, very, very rare that we put Billy up on a chart and then he makes money. And then at the same time, even if he does, that's perfect, because you know who's making way more money are us, from lows. So brilliant move on NUWE, right? You can see the reversal and you see the chart, and it's on you. In my opinion, it is your mission to figure out how to buy it down here and sell it up here. And then everything beyond that on a daily basis is just extras, right? The bonus, the home run. That's cool. It's good to see, especially because we don't have much going on. VSTE, a little higher priced. But really, NUWE was the one, huh? The one this morning. So I can watch this now. If this doesn't just die completely, okay, I can take this off. I can put this on my watch for a first green day bounce potentially this week. Okay. That's how I'm looking at this. I won't chase it. Not dip buying it. Okay. See how it sets up into the afternoon? It's very extended right now. Hell yeah, Tao. Beautiful. Oh, sweet. Pack members crushing that one. Sweet. I love it, AFNB. Luke. Ah, so sick. AFNB had 210 as well. So sick. And the thing is, guys and gals, once you feel what that trade there feels like, that's a 5-minute early morning reversal. So it's a little early for my liking usually, but stronger markets, that's what you'll see. Weaker markets, usually a little bit more fade. But again, once you get used to this risk reward idea, there's no going back. I promise. I promise. When the trades look like that, a little bit of red, big green amounts, I talk about this too. It's not the margin for error changes too, right? You nail your entry, you got 210, maybe 207 or 2 risk, 10 cents risk, right? Even for the single to VWAP down there, margin for error. If you're trying for pre-market highs at 3, that's where this is, right? And say it gets slammed and you've taken profits at VWAP and you've taken profits at high day and then it gets slammed. All right. You still have a green trade there. Does that make sense? You still have a green trade there. When Billy buys and then it gets slammed, he's immediately red. So for most of my traders and the people I teach and what the ideas that we work, okay, we are contrarians. We buy the weakness. We buy support. Sell into strength. And it's a different feeling, isn't it? Is there anyone who's never done that before? In chat, let me know right now. How does that feel? Okay, now how does that feel compared to everything else? Maybe a bit scary at first, yeah, because it's meant to be. When it goes down naturally and it's red candles and it's going down, and we are programmed very naturally to be scared and think that it's done and think that it's dead, right? That's what I reprogrammed. I reprogrammed myself to not bite response-wise, impulse-wise, and trade-wise here and do it down here. That's all. Okay? Any more questions? Make sure to smash the like. A lot of important lessons again this morning. I'm going to go through trade recaps from last week for you guys on YouTube. Tomorrow, I think that video is coming out, so stay tuned for that. Actually have just live examples from trades in my Discord from the live trades that I do with them every day. If you want to be in the Discord and the Wolf Pack, there aren't many better places to be in terms of small and mid cap trading to the long side. It's an amazing, amazing community we've been building for 7 or 8 years already. One of the OG communities, actually. I think we're one of the first five trading Discords. Now there's like thousands of them, but we were one of the original ones. We were on Discord when it was just gamers. Anyways, hit the link below. Okay, we do pre-market prep every morning. I live trade every single trade every day. There's also a free chat. And in the free chat, if you guys didn't know, I do a free watch list every single day. It's free. I do an absolute free watch list with all the tickers that ran. It's every afternoon. It'll let you know. Oof. Look at that. Look at that smackle on new. That was an unhalt, okay? And it will have been shorted there. So yeah, I do free watch lists and some free lessons once in a while for the free people and trying to answer questions and help any way I can. Okay. And I've priced it at the same cost of everyone else's like nonsense programs. You know, most people charge for their watch list what I charge monthly for 24/7 service basically to my students, right? Small account's a little over 6 right now. It's at 6,200. Yeah, from 3. I haven't traded it frequently enough. And, but still, it's okay. We're still working it. It's going to grow. We're going to keep working it. It was definitely an adjustment for me. Not been a long time. We do shirtless webinars too. Stop. However, the reverse split play has been looking like slower. Slower. Listen, when we have slower markets in general, a little bit slower when things start to slow down a little bit, it's the splits slow down too, right? So for example, I'm not really swinging splits right now. I'll wait till one blows up big and then I look at the splits. So that's how I treat splits. I'm not usually trading them all year long, every single day. When I see one reverse split go berserk, that's when I start to focus on it, right? Same, and this is the last note, and then I got to get to my people, because this was only supposed to be a few minutes, and we've done 25 minutes, I think, extra. So smash that like. Here's your pull to new. Look, Billy. Billy had 2 minutes or whatever of actual trading action, and it's back to Billy. Right? You've got, this is a dip buy. There are a lot of gurus, and myself included, who when I got savvier and stopped chasing up to like 360 on breakouts, you know, this was like not even a chase to me back in the day. That's no problem, right? This is where I started getting it. This is actually my second stop. I started buying the dip, right? The retest, the break and retest, people call it all the time. That doesn't really work that great either. All right. All right, Gall. We're going to get, if you are one of my wolves, we are going to actually hit the rest of our Webby for today. All right. You could type. So if you're one of my wolves, we'll catch you guys over in the Discord. If you are not and you want to jump in, we got links down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully I helped change a nice little hold right now, by the way, on ADN there, right? Look where it held, by the way. Dang. Interesting. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Anyways, that's kind of interesting, right? Little bounce there, 350, 320, 360. There's VWAP test. So reversal already in play here. I wasn't watching price action down there as it got towards where we want to watch price action. But, you know, certainly has shown like volume perk, right? After some consolidation at that level has shown that it may want to hold this area. So maybe I'll watch this area. Okay. That being said, could have also already had a single from that area that I drew out for you. Remember? Pre-market. So, interesting. And then the key is be patient, right? Be patient on these reversals in the morning. Don't just dip by the first dip just because. Be patient. Be patient for your levels and what you want to see. Buy low, sell high, be a contrarian, cut your losses quickly, set stops. If you are someone who goes on rides, put yourself on stop restriction for a month. Just try it. It might help a lot. Oh, ouchie. ADN, by the way, you see that slap off VWAP, my friends? 360 to low of day, back to 325, just like that, okay? NUWE trying to hold. But this is what I'm talking about. If I was dip buying here and I sold some in the VWAP or all of it, right? That's that margin for error when it gets slapped at VWAP. Okay? I could still be green with this price action if you're not being greedy and you're doing it correctly. So, anyways, love you all. Thank you so much for joining me again. Smash the link down below if you want to join the pack and get in with pretty much the best trading group out there in terms of this stuff, I promise. Also, we'll give you access to me and the ability to sign up for one-on-ones and stuff like that at some point if you want to be one of my personal students like that. And if you're just one of my Monday morning wolves, man, I love you guys and gals. Thanks for joining me this morning. Have an amazing trading week. Stay safe. Election week, okay? Election week. So, you know, I'm going to forgive myself for being a little hands off, right? And all I am looking for are singles at the moment. Cool? Yeah, our group is tight knit, man. That's what I mean. My group doesn't. It's the same. It's been the same group for like 7 years, and that's why a lot of them. Well, I got a lot of them mentoring students now. I got about 5 or 6 and 7-figure students who are also mentoring my students in there with me and helping, doing webinars, new lows on ADN. That's exactly what I'm talking about, by the way. Y'all who are trying this gap and crap reversal or dip buying or reversal buying, you have to sell into different levels. You buy the patience, okay? And this is when, if not, you're being stopped out a lot because a lot of these are still faders when you're buying dips in the morning. Understood? So the last thing you want is like dip buy here, get stopped out, right? And this is what's going to happen. This is the last note, and then I got to go. But this is what the tendency generally is, right? When you start dip buying early morning gap and crap reversals is dip buy, don't take profits, get stopped here, right? Dip buy, don't take profits, get stopped here. And then you get stuck swimming upstream against a fader all morning, okay? That's what that looks like. If you're like taking loss after loss on dip buys, change your perspective or be more patient for entry or just don't trade the setup at the moment. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed the bit of extended lessons this morning. Congrats to those who smacked new. That was wild move this morning. Congrats to everyone who learned lessons. We will catch you guys next week, and we'll catch you in a few days for a YouTube video. So make sure that you're subscribed, smash the like. Love you guys. Have an amazing week. Peace. My wolves will catch you guys right. Chanel over here.